Welcome back to the Nethercast. I am Black Cyborg, joined as always by Razor's Edge and Shadaloo. Temp is sitting this one out. He is actually out of town, so carry on forward. Keep giving you guys the content you're looking for each week, and here you go. So, there's a lot of stuff to cover this week. Holy crap.
Goddamn shame Temp couldn't really be here for it.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to go through an episode with like me, you, and Razor covering this, and I'm not even drunk, so I can't be half as entertaining as I normally am. I'm out of liquor.
Well, it's a good thing we got a lot to talk about. We don't need to fill time.
Exactly.
All right.
So, let's start at the beginning, I guess. Since last week, a couple of us, unfortunately, you guys don't have the beta. Razor gave his code to me very nicely, so I have opinions on the beta, but unfortunately Temp and Django are not here, so they cannot at least give another opinion on it. I don't know. Have you guys watched the beta at all?
I've seen some stuff. Seen a lot of the stuff you put up.
I've seen
Nothing
some
but
things.
like what you've done.
Yeah. Okay.
Just your footage. I'm not going out of my way.
Sure. Okay.
I've
So,
looked at other videos here and there, mostly just out of curiosity about gear, but yeah.
I will say that like, as much as I've gone on record as not being very excited for the game, seeing all the character redesigns have made me a little bit enthusiastic for the game. I'm probably going to enjoy playing it a little bit, assuming it does feel better, as
Right.
some people have been telling me. So I'm in a phase where I don't want to get too burned out on it. So I'm trying to
Sure.
not watch a shit ton.
Makes sense, definitely.
Trailers are just fine, though.
Right. Yeah, I didn't watch any of the beta footage before I played it, so I'm completely there with you on that one. I'm trying not to overload on it as well. I did that with MKX and paid for it. So, so far though, beta impressions, I'll just make this pretty brief, but I like the game. It took a little bit to warm up to. Off the bat, I was just thinking to myself, man, I wish this felt more like MKX, which there's still a little bit of that, but I mean, I guess you got to. Then they're just making a DC reskin of an MK game. So I understand wanting to keep them different, the back to block, the clash system, and just some of the way the game feels in general. But I will say it definitely feels better than Injustice 1, if not for the polish, the better graphics, and I think just everything's a little bit smoother. It's slightly quicker, not as quicker as I would like, but it's, I think, maybe like a fourth quicker. I mean, it's very minuscule, but it does feel better. And I think it took me about an hour to really warm up to the game after MKX's fast-paced, like always on your toes kind of feeling to it. It took me about an hour to get used to kind of slowing things down. I mean, the animations and the gameplay when you're in the thick of it is very quick, and you always have to be ready for what your opponent's doing, and whenever you do something, you got to commit to it 100%. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, I know a big thing for you, Shadaloo, is, and I agreed wholeheartedly, is the movement speed of the characters. That's kind of there. I mean, it really depends on the character. I know last time we kind of discussed multiple characters feeling too similar in terms of just even Batman was slow, and, you know, characters that you felt should be quicker were still relatively slow. And I don't really feel that way this time, but I've been mainly playing Supergirl, so she's obviously much quicker. I think it took her like 2 air dashes to get to her opponent and stuff like that. I mean, it's relatively easier to move around with a character like her as opposed to like an Atrocitus. And Batman falls somewhere in the middle of all of that.
No, right?
I was like, any reaction?
That's a lot to take in.
Okay.
No, it's like what you were talking. I was just kind of rewatching the Here Come the Girls trailer, just mentally refresh myself on like
Sure.
what they look like, and not so much look, but like what they look like they're gonna play like. It's really hard to tell from like that 1 minute of footage.
Yeah, and we'll definitely bounce through everything. I think Swamp Thing, Here Comes the Girl trailer, the mobile stuff. I mean, there's
Jesus,
a
yeah,
lot of stuff to cover.
We have to. Honestly, we basically had what seems to be the entire roster confirmed for us since the last time in one way, shape, form, or another. Depending on how much the mobile game reveals. We'll get to that.
Well, it's at this point we have like 75% of the leak list we've seen. We know they're true, so that just
Somebody,
Oh, the leak.
was
the
that a
other
diving board?
application.
What the hell was that?
Oh no, that was my bottle of water. Typical.
Okay, it sounded like a diving board. It was so weird.
Boom.
Yeah, there's just
Appropriate
a
because
ton
we're taking a
of
leap
stuff.
into the unknown.
But that leads to an
yeah,
interesting conversation, though. If we can assume we know the full roster now, at least, okay, well, maybe we don't know the full roster. Maybe there's 1 or 2 characters that weren't going to be in the mobile game or that the guy didn't work on, so he didn't know about them.
Didn't the leak only have like 29 out of the 31 names or something like that?
I think it was like 28. I don't know. We should pull that up again. But I think it was like 28 characters, something like that. And which there needs to be at least one more, I would imagine, if it's supposed to be the largest initial roster of any NRS game. MK9.
Well, okay, I keep going back. There are 31 squares on the website.
Sure.
I don't think that's just a random assortment of boxes. I think those are the number.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm actually now there's up to, I think, 39.
They added more boxes?
Well, each time they add a new character's profile, they don't really take away from the boxes that are already there.
Huh.
So, I mean, they have in some degree, but if you actually go to the website now and count up the boxes, I did before they added Cheetah, because they added Cheetah today. Before they added her, there was 38 in total, counting the characters that they've revealed that are on the website. And then when they added Cheetah, now there's a total of 39 boxes. So, yeah, because the screen goes through 3 times, each is 11, and then the last one kind of cycles to the left a little bit, and you just got to keep your eye on the box that moves over. And yeah, it's a total of 39, I think, now.
Either they're planning on adding the DLC, or I'm wrong in the website, the boxes don't matter.
Yeah,
We'll
I think it's got to be with DLC, or like you said, they won't matter in the end. They're just going to adjust as they need to, and they'll cut boxes when they want to, or whatever.
But I mean, we know there's going to be like 9 DLC characters, right?
Yeah, we know for sure there will be at least 9 characters.
So there's that.
And that's not counting Premier skins, because they don't.
Yeah.
They market them separately, so.
And half of those will be guests, so they barely count as people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting probably 3 to 4 guests. Somebody on Reddit actually suggested a pretty good kind of predicting what'll happen is maybe we'll get 3 waves of 3 characters, and each wave will have 1 guest character in it. So
well, I think we have 3 guests confirmed. Well, it's going to be like someone from Watchmen, and then Spawn and Sub-Zero. Yeah, probably Rorschach. But then Spawn and Sub-Zero. Isn't that it?
I don't know if that was officially confirmed or it's just rampant, incredible speculation.
Well, I mean, it seems pretty likely. And what I mean to say is that we don't have any others that we know about, right?
Other than Spawn and Sub-Zero, I don't think there's any guest characters. I mean, it depends if you count Watchmen as a guest. I think they were on their own poll as well. I don't remember who was going up. Maybe it was just, do you want Watchmen characters? I can't remember.
Yeah, the poll was just, do you want Watchmen characters, yes or no?
Yeah.
Let's just get this straight. If it's a Watchmen character, it's going to be Rorschach, because Batman's in the game, so you're not going to have Night Owl. You're not going to have Dr. Manhattan because he's God. Maybe the comedian?
Dr. Manhattan is... People overestimate what he can actually do. He's just Captain Atom.
I think he stands a chance because if everybody's taking those Superman pills or whatever you call them, I mean, they're all somewhat, in quotations, of course, supposed to be on an even playing field. Obviously, that's not the case. But
the thing is, Manhattan's main attack, and I can see why people think it's so unbeatable. He can just point at someone and their atoms come apart and they explode. Yeah. And theoretically, even Superman shouldn't be able to resist that.
Yeah. But there's no reason.
I'm going on the basis of Question not being in this game at all, and Rorschach being far and away.
Sure, I think we can
the
all
most
agree.
popular of the Watchmen.
I think
that's
all
kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, Rorschach for sure will take that place. But I don't necessarily know if I count him as a guest. I definitely count obviously Spawn and Sub-Zero and a Hellboy if they included any of those, because those are all independent or elsewhere. But Watchmen, how long have DC owned Watchmen? I know it's been not too long.
Always. It was made for DC.
What brand did they originally go through? Vertigo?
I I don't know if Vertigo was a thing yet.
Okay. Okay, well then, yeah, they wouldn't be technically a guest then in that regard. Because I know they play to like a different.
Because it's
More
not
in the
set
sense
in
of
DC
like
universe.
Yeah.
they're on their own little world somewhere. And like the whole thing originally did start out as a plan to use these characters like Batman, Superman, and the Question, and DC just said no, not with what you want to do,
Well,
Alan. Not with
exactly
what
what
you
it was going to be is so there was a time when DC acquired a whole lot of other companies
Right.
that went out of business. They got Captain Marvel, the whole Shazam brand from one company, and then they got this brand, this Charlton Comics, which
That's
had
where Blue Beetle came from.
yeah,
There.
Blue Beetle, the Question, and Captain Atom, and a few other characters came from there. And DC hadn't decided what they were going to do with them yet, and Alan Moore was like, well, I could do a whole graphic novel thing. And then he's like, and then they're like, well, your story is going to have like death and sex in it, so maybe just create your own characters because we want to use these guys for something where we can keep them around for a while.
Right.
So
Also, we're not letting Batman have erectile dysfunction.
So Alan Moore created Watchmen based on the Charlton characters. Like Night Owl, I mean, he does take after Batman some, but he's more directly based on Ted Kord, the Blue Beetle. And Rorschach is based on the Question, Dr. Manhattan's based on Captain Atom, etc. And so he made his own story, and then when DC did Crisis on Infinite Earths, they blended the real Charlton characters into the DC universe.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
that's
I don't
the
know.
history of that.
I'm still of the mindset that if we get like a third guest and we want to like actually, other than Hellboy, I think Hellboy stands an okay chance, but I'm still holding out for a Ninja Turtle, man.
I mean, well, Nickelodeon owns the Ninja Turtle license. I don't know if they'll do business with Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but there's a crossover in the
I don't-
comics right now where it's Batman and the Ninja Turtles.
That's
it
true.
makes sense.
That's true. Well, I think what
By
that
all
is.
accounts,
So,
that's actually a horrible crossover. I've not heard anything good about it.
I have
Honestly,
no idea. I have
With
no
like the last movie, I think the last movie did okay-ish. The current Nickelodeon cartoon is really good. The IDW comics are amazing. I don't know that Nickelodeon need this. I wouldn't hold my breath.
Oh no, I don't. At the end of the day, I could care less. Honestly,
also, the thing about the Ninja Turtles is 3/4 of their fans are going to be disappointed by the turtle you didn't go with because everybody has a favorite.
yeah, and that's true. Unless they do it in some sort of like
Just
gear
do
system
Shredder.
that lets you choose the different characters. I don't know.
Just make it Shredder. We all want to play as Shredder in a video game anyway. Just make it fucking happen.
But
More
yeah.
gear. There you go. Super Shredder.
But yeah, either way, yeah,
Problem
no, I'm not.
itself.
I'm not
If-
holding
if
my
you could
breath
get
by any means.
Kevin
I don't
Nash
really.
for the voice acting for
Yeah.
Super Shredder.
Oh Christ! It is the funniest thing in the world to me that that guy was Super Shredder for 30 fucking seconds. Great stuff.
They just needed someone really tall, man. I like how the mutagen makes his spikes grow.
I've never gotten over that myself. Did you ever read the comic version of that movie?
I don't think I have.
I don't remember if he actually said anything in the Super Shredder form in the movie, apart from like screaming and yelling. But in the comics, they're like, "Shredder, stop! You're gonna bring the whole thing down and kill us all." And he just goes, "Then so be it," and continues raging around.
I think that line might be in the movie.
Okay. Been a long time since I dared to expose myself to some Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while either.
First one still holds up, but man, that second one, it's only once you age a little bit that you start to appreciate its various problems.
Yeah.
Fuck the Ninja Turtles. All right, so
Oh,
let's
yeah.
talk about.
Injustice.
Let's talk about.
Injustice, that's a thing.
Let's talk about Swamp Thing. Because I mean, Swamp Thing.
All
I
right.
think out of all the characters that they've shown so far, this character, in my opinion, has looked the best. Not look wise, but just in general gameplay wise, he looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah,
He
his
is
moves are
fucking-
really interesting.
Great design on that super with the giant fists punching you left and right, and oh my god, it looks so painful and wonderful. I'm pleasantly surprised that they managed to make Swamp Thing look A, like himself, B, like a lot of fun. They didn't fuck him up in the least.
Oh no, I think they were purposely holding on to this because this. I know we've talked about and we kind of used this example in the past, or at least I have, where the Noob Zaybot trailer of the bunch, and I felt like that was the one. Because back in MK9, Noob Zabot's trailer was the one that kind of stole the show, and I think this time Swamp Thing might have that award goes to him, because his trailer was phenomenal. Everything about it was so damn cool.
Yeah.
Also,
I agree.
Like Noob, he kind of spawns clones a little bit.
Yeah, I think the lesson to take from this is the best character you can possibly have in a fighting game is the guy who in mid combo spawns another body to punch with.
Yes. I have an idea to run by you guys, because I want to see if this sounds like crazy, but what do you think of, and this is not to take anything away from Swamp Thing, because he was on, I think, at least 3 of our lists, wish lists for Swamp Thing, and I'm excited for him, but what do you think of a premiere skin of Clayface for Swamp Thing? Do you think that could work?
I think that it's possible, yes.
There's a lot of reskinning to his special moves you have to do to make them clay instead of like vines and stuff.
Yeah, I guess it really just depends on how far the premiere skins go. Because as far as we know, they'll have different voice actors and intros and stuff, but we don't know if any of the moves will change at all, or if they'll even, like, if it, maybe not, the other characters don't get that, but maybe they want to make something like that work. I don't know. I'm not saying, like, pushing for it to happen by any means, but it's just a thought that occurred to me that a lot of his moves, if you made him, like, clay looking, it could technically work.
It would be sort of serviceable, but for major DC fans, I guarantee it would be kind of like the way that I would look at Cassie and Jackie and Ninja outfits if I gave those things more than a second of my time.
Or like a Triborg.
I'd be seeing like Clayface using Swamp Thing's moves, because Clayface has enough of his own very commonly recurring themes, like rolling into a ball and rolling at you, or forming anvils or spikes or giant brick segments out of his hands, or having a giant mouth. Clayface has enough signature maneuvers and looks to really, really warrant himself as a character. And, you can tell me there aren't too many Batman characters in the game. Fuck you. I would trade for Clayface. I would trade most people for Clayface.
Well, I don't know about trade Swamp Thing. I mean, trust me, I'm right there with you, Shadowloo, but I feel like the Swamp fan. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Swamp Thing fans.
Swamp Thing fans, thank you. I think they deserve to have the character into the game more than Clayface. Clayface isn't as widely requested by any means, but I'm with you in the sense that, one, I don't think there's too many Batman characters, and two, Clayface is fucking cool, and I would love to have him in there.
Can I just, like, propose to the NRS team, like, behind all my backhanded compliments, I'm going to seem like an asshole or anything, but for Injustice 3, just maybe call it Bat Justice. Just go whole hog, forget everyone else.
I'm fine with that.
It's what the suits want you to do. It's what you probably want to do. The Batman fans will thank you. How much better of a name can you get than Bat Justice?
Bat Justice.
Bat Justice.
Injustice, Bats Among Us.
But along the lines of potential Clayface reskin, here was like the 2 or 3 things that jumped out at me that made me think, I wonder if they included that for Swamp Thing just to make it so when they make Clayface, like if they did a Clayface reskin or a premiere skin or whatever you want to call it, that it would give Clayface kind of his own thing. When he goes down into the little puddle to lower himself to avoid projectiles, I immediately thought, that could be something that Clayface would do. Or like the clones. I mean, Clayface could make clones of himself easily like that. Or like the viney things that he uses to grab people, those could just be, giant clay things going across the screen to grab his opponent. I don't know. And the different weapons that he forms in his hands during his combos and stuff like that, like the overheads had like canes and hammers and crap like that. I don't know. I just immediately thought, hey, a lot of that stuff looks like Clayface. The more difficult stuff would probably be like the trees and stuff like that. But I mean, even that could just be kind of reskinned to generic clay shooting out from him. I don't know. It's just a thought I had. Just a thought. Even the super would make sense, technically, because if you went underground, you just have clay hands, so... But yes.
It's workable. I'm just saying.
I agree with you, though.
It would still feel like someone who looked like Clayface.
Yeah. No, I would much rather have Clayface by himself, and if it meant, hey, save him for another game, I'm on board with that, because I still think, Clayface could be a lot of fun by himself, and made strictly for himself with his own creative, thing behind it rather than Swamp Thing reskin.
And with the and with the Injustice art style and like the cues that they kind of seem to be taking from Scarecrow just a little bit, but we'll get to that.
Right.
I honestly, I would love to see an Injustice Clayface because I believe that they could make him legitimately terrifying.
Yeah.
He was creepy in Arkham City. Little like drone things he sent walking towards you.
He's
was actually kind of nightmarish
and everything.
Yeah, he is in the animated series.
There was something really special about that fight. There really was.
One of the things that creeped me out about Clayface from the animated series was that little girl. Like the little girl that he created, that spawns off of him.
That episode where
that was horrific at the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not real after all.
Yeah, that was creepy. Yeah. But yeah, back to Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing definitely looked really awesome. I didn't see one person complain about his moveset or the way he looked. Everybody, this is probably the most unanimously praised trailer and character that they've done, and a lot of people have put him on the top of the pedestal in terms of just how well he's been done in this game. He looks like a ton of fun. I'm happy for Redman. Redman was pulling hard for Swamp Thing, so definitely cool that he made the cut. Next up, we had... trying to think, other than... I know we had the Here Comes the Girls trailer, but I'm trying to think if we're missing anything. I don't think so. So next we have basically Cheetah, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy gameplay all in one shot. Thoughts?
All right. I want to just jump straight to Cheetah because she looks like she's going to be really agile and quick. But we've only had like 1 minute of footage for these three characters. Right. Nothing really conclusive. Cheetah looks like very much like my kind of really quick hit and run kind of character.
Sure.
Enjoy the design for the most part, but gonna say it, face looks funky. Like it's too human a bit. It could stand to be a bit more feline. The eyes are just sheer human.
She has the reverse Kintaro problem.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. That's pretty much what's going on there. It's not awful, but it could use a bit of work. That's all I really have to say about Cheetah. I was the only guy who had her on my list, so I'm very, very happy to see her show up.
Yeah, you did. Cool. Yeah, you definitely had her on your list, and I know Razor was defending her in the sense, because I remember saying, maybe Catwoman and Cheetah are just like premier skins of each other or whatever. But yeah, they definitely sold me on it.
I just figured that there's no way Cheetah could have something that would replace Catwoman's whip.
Sure. And I think you're dead on. I mean, they once again wowed me. Cheetah is not a character that I'm super interested in, but seeing the little snippet that we had, I'm like, man, I'm so wrong about that because she looks so much fun. I love the idea of taking the claws and just making her a ferocious beast, kind of like a Sabretooth or a Wolverine, and she's just up in your face, rush down, crazy all over, slashing all over the place. I think could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, she looks like a maybe for my main. Like, I'm still looking for that person who's the rush down in your face character, and she's definitely that. It depends on how the buttons go, I guess. Because it's right now I'm feeling either her or Catwoman, so this trailer was pretty good for me.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Catwoman then. Catwoman, I'm not sure what to think about Catwoman. Catwoman's somebody that I want in the game, but I'm not exactly sure. Like that, the gameplay for Catwoman I thought was like they showed the least amount of her. I felt like, at least that I can remember. They showed her using her whip and stuff like that. They showed her super with the motorcycle, and they showed a little bit of like really a story. Great. Yeah, no, and everything looked cool about her, but I'm still not sure what she does, how she plays. I would imagine she's a lot more whip dependent this time. But yeah, I don't know what to think of her quite yet.
Yeah, it's a question, because in the first game, her moves were very, especially her trait was all centered on slashing with her claws, and if that has been transplanted to Cheetah, then they'd have to have replaced it. And yeah, we did see the least of her fighting. There was a lot of like cutscene and super move footage, which is interesting. It makes me wonder how done she is. Like, really, that's sort of a question with all these characters, and how much of they're now releasing them very quickly, footage of all the roster, and how much of that I wonder is like pressure because they figured, well, it leaked anyway, so let's.
It's pretty much they're pretty much in damage control mode over there. Like I'd say that right now they're probably getting stuff ready for the mobile leak. There's probably a very hastily put together Scarecrow trailer coming within the next 2 weeks.
I think it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B. On one hand, I think this was their plan all along. Maybe not in this order or in quick succession, but they kind of did this with MKX as well. It's like they announce the game, they show off some of the game, and then they have a crazy long dry period throughout like the fall and winter, and then finally, come February 1st, they just start announcing things left and right, and almost weekly. They did the same thing with MKX, and they did similar with previous games like Injustice and MK9. It seemed like they cram it all in the last 4 months.
Well, another similarity I see between the two is when when characters are revealed for a fighting game, there's sort of a tendency in the fan base to expect all the reveals to be main game gameplay footage.
Sure.
And that's the first time we'll see every character. But with MKX, a lot of characters were revealed for the first time through the comic.
Yeah.
Or, through secondary sources and stuff that some people might interpret as a leak or a tease, but was clearly deliberate. And
Right.
I think the mobile release was a deliberate choice.
Oh, I think they outright. Well, I don't know if they outright said. I know on Reddit, I remember seeing somebody posted about on the mobile forums that they go to for the mobile game, like the official mobile
It was like a soft
forums.
launch.
Yeah,
The word soft launch was
maybe it's like getting it out there on the foreign market because the developers wanted some live testing, but it's still when you do something like that, you have to get approval, and the people know that even if it doesn't come out in America, footage of it is going to get back to America.
Right. I think they really like doing that kind of stuff. Just like they'll show like a Swamp Thing trailer where it just like completely makes you fall in love with the character, and they show so much of the character because we saw a lot of what Swamp Thing can do. I felt like in that trailer versus Here Comes the Girls trailer where you saw just little teasers, or like showing them in the mobile game first, or showing them in the cinematic trailer first, so you don't get to see any gameplay. Like we still have yet to see the Flash gameplay, and he got shown off in the very first trailer.
Yeah.
So I think they like doing that, and in one way I kind of like that, and another way it's frustrating. So I kind of see it from both angles because I like it in the sense that the characters in the game, so then it kind of builds up that desire to see them. Whereas Swamp Thing, it's like, okay, I'm super hyped about Swamp Thing, but now I've seen a lot of what he has to offer, whereas they kind of string you along in other ways with other characters. So I like a little bit of a mix.
Yeah, like, I hope that us not seeing, like, us knowing the Flash is in from the get-go, but not seeing anything from him, even though he was in the first game, and we should know what to expect from his moves. I hope that means that they've redone a bunch of stuff, because he felt really kind of janky to me in the first game, and I want to play as the Flash.
Sure, yeah. He's right up your alley for sure with the whole rushdown thing. We know at least his outfit looks better. So
yeah, way better.
But yeah, so it's interesting how they did that, because they did the same thing with Ivy and Bane. Now Ivy, we just saw like a small teaser after her being shown off in a cinematic trailer first. Now we still have yet to see anything from Bane or Brainiac, so I mean it's kind of along the same vein. I don't know. I know some people prefer just having every character get like the Swamp Thing treatment, where it's that big hype trailer where they show off a lot of what the character can do, and I love that too. I mean, there's a reason why Swamp Thing kind of blew everyone out of the water, because the trailer showed off such great gameplay of his. But I also like kind of the teasers of certain characters. I guess it just kind of depends. Like I'm not a big fan of like a magazine reveal. Like if it's just a picture, to me that's not very exciting, so to speak.
It was exciting back in the day when
magazines
were more prominent.
Now that YouTube exists, you can't really do the magazine thing. You seem like it's just not enough.
But I do kind of like a cinematic trailer, or just like I think the Here Comes the Girls trailer was a nice kind of teaser. Like you got a little bit of each character. Speaking of which, let's move on to. Or did you have anything to say about Catwoman, Shadowloo?
Well, there's been some criticism of how her face looks, and it definitely, like, she looks like a 45-year-old woman in that one cutscene bit that looks like it's like a piece from story mode. Actually,
I think it's the jawline. Just needs to be.
we could maybe chalk that up to things not being really quite ready yet.
Yeah, I'm hoping her face just isn't as polished as like
'Cause
Supergirl's
I think
is.
she looks okay on the website. She looks
Yeah.
fine on the website.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think she
yeah.
looks okay as well. I think if they want to make her better, then yeah, I hope it's just like you said, like a Supergirl situation where Supergirl started looking off rough too, and then they obviously
Mhm.
polished her after time. So
And yeah. And as far as her costume goes, I like a lot of the gear we've seen in the mobile version. Like there's the one where she's got like a hoodie with cat ears on it.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
cute. And there's one where like her base one that her bio on the website and in the trailer showed is a little busy for me, but she's got like just a really sleek, shiny latex one in the mobile, which I guess is her base without any gear on it.
Right.
I like that.
Definitely, definitely. I wonder if that's no, I don't think it's a shader. I was thinking this might be like a shader to make it look like latex, but in the mobile version, she has one that's all black that's shiny and one that's purple and black that's shiny. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's just what it
Well,
looks like in
I
general.
think the mobile version it doesn't like have gear and shaders the way the main game does.
Right.
It just releases costumes made of gear and shaders.
Right. No, I can confirm that. I've played some the mobile game, and yeah, it's a lot obviously less detailed and much more streamlined. So as to be expected. But yeah, okay. So did you have anything Catwoman wise, Shadowloo?
Not as such. I barely remember how she played in the original. I have no comments for like the 2 seconds worth of gameplay we saw. I just don't think she particularly looks bad on the website. I guess we'll see, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the
That's
day,
it.
it's good to have variety at least. But the females do look very different.
I do have a little bit to say about Poison Ivy.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump into Poison Ivy then, because she's the only one left on the trailer. Because we kind of discussed Black Canary prior to this. So why don't you lead us off?
Okay. As one of those, like, not really much of a physical combatant style of characters, like, people who I imagine struggling to have a definitive one-on-one fighting style in a game, like Harvey Dent, like I mentioned last time. From what I can tell, they managed to kind of strike a bit of a nice balance between, like, holds and takedowns and, like, plant-assisted maneuvers. It's just a little bit weird to see her jumping, but she's not, like, doing ultra acrobatic stuff or anything.
Right.
So, I seem to be kind of convinced at the moment. I think I just need to see more. Like, her jump kicks aren't, like, straightforward. They seem to be, like, kind of, like, slowish drop kicks.
Right.
So, yeah, I like it. And, of course, you know, the jaws of death, knocking people into those things. And, yes, very happy to see that.
It was kind of...
And I think her face... I think actually out of all of them, her face probably looks the best in the trailer.
Oh, 100% agreed.
Yeah.
100%. Just the entire, everything about, like, face and all that, definitely perfect. A subtle thing that I noticed a lot of people weren't noticing that you obviously did catch, where a lot of her punches and kicks are not really kicks, but a lot of her punches, like when she's up in her opponent's face, a lot of her combos actually have her 2 little plants that are behind her as the ones attacking. Like, she'll throw the punch, but it's just kind of like throwing her arm forward while the plants do the actual, like, jabbing. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a nice
mix.
balance for sure, yeah. And she had some really cool takedowns. I love when she was like up on, like she had a leg wrapped around their shoulder, like their neck, and then kind of the plants jabbed at them like 2 or 3 times, and then she fell down gracefully with them as they fell backwards. Like that, just so awesome. I love little nuances like that in style when it comes to fighting. Like Black Canary has some really cool stylized moves and takedowns and grabs. And I'm happy to see Ivy have some of that style as well.
I am, for the most part, pretty convinced.
And then we did get it confirmed hairstyle-wise. It's not a shortcut. It's it's braided down the back. We were kind of leaning whether it was one or the other. And it looks like, it was braided. Razor, thoughts on Ivy?
I like that one move she has where she sort of... I think it's a grapple where she like puts her leg around your neck and sort of takes you down to the ground.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That was like my favorite thing that she did in the trailer. I thought it was so graceful and cool.
There's something interesting about her style that reminds me of almost a combination of Devora and Melina.
Yeah, that's a kind of a good comparison to a degree. Yeah, interesting.
Because I remember like when I think of Melina and her gameplay in MK9 and MKX, I picture a lot of like jumping up on a person's torso and like just getting up in their face.
Right. And Devora's, yeah, just kind of vicious, letting her kind of insect parts do all the work for her.
The little plants that sort of attack from behind her back sort of remind me of the stingers.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, which is interesting to me because I always liked both of their gameplay, so seeing them together like that would be pretty interesting. The only thing that struck me as odd about her gameplay was that weird little plant that like spins her and her opponent way in the air. That thing, I was like, how does that even work?
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but it certainly as hell looks cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's really interesting. But yeah, I'm not... Like, overall, I'm pretty excited for her gameplay, but we just saw such a small snippet of it that I don't know how to feel yet. Like, I'm not completely confident that I'll enjoy it, because I don't really know what style she plays as. We know...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, all three of the reveals, there's so little footage that it's like it looks good, but it's still like I would like to see more before I make a judgment on whether I like this or not.
Sure. I think the one that you can kind of form the most judgment is maybe Cheetah. I mean, Cheetah's kind of obvious, though, in the sense that you know she's going to be up in your face, rush down. Whereas Ivy, it's still kind of up in the air how she operates. Same with Catwoman. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to feel about them. So, but yeah, Ivy definitely impressed me the most out of all of them in the trailer. Cheetah was a surprise in how much I enjoyed her gameplay and just what she did show. And Catwoman's like the complete mystery for me. So it's kind of what I took away from the trailer. Overall, it was a really cool trailer. I love how they did that. I don't know if that's the one that Ed Boon was saying was like the best trailer they've ever done. I don't know about that.
I think he was referring to the Swamp Thing one because he made that tweet like right before Swamp Thing was released.
Yeah, that's odd to me. I still don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I don't know all the trailers they've put out since being NetherRealm Studios. Like, I would probably put like a cinematic trailer as that's what I was expecting when he said that. Like, the best trailer we've ever done, and how like proud of it he was. I guess maybe if you just think from a gameplay standpoint, yeah, it was really well done. And I really like the style and the theme. I love the music that they used for the Here Comes the Girls one, so definitely cool.
I mean, honestly, if I were to rate all the trailers they've ever released, I still think Noob Saibot takes it just because of his win pose.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a really good one. That would be tough. I'd have to go back and watch that.
Any video that has Noob's win pose from MK9 in it is automatically a good video.
But yeah, and then, so we did see all them, and there was one thing to mention about Swamp Thing that I guess I forgot to say is IGN put up an article where they basically talked about why the person that got to play as him, I guess he went to NetherRealm Studios in Chicago and got to try out Swamp Thing for like an hour or two, and he said he really enjoyed the character and why he's looking forward to the character. And he said Swamp Thing kind of plays like a long range, like a long range, like a zoning grappler, which is a really weird thing to think about because it's not really something you see.
Sounds quite frankly horrifying.
Yeah, because you're not.
Isn't that what Con Ra is in Killer Instinct?
And a lot of people have been comparing, Swamp Thing to Con Ra because of that feature, because you don't see that very often in fighters. I mean, usually when you think grappler, you think like Zangief. They're right up, or Grundy even. They're right up in your face, and they're that's when you're just trying to play keep away from them. Whereas Swamp Thing, you're not safe on any part of the screen because he has one of his vine grab things is while you're just standing, and you can be pretty much full screen. He said like a step away from full screen, he can grab you while you're blocking with those vine things. Or if you try and jump, another way that's commonly avoiding command grabs is by jumping. And I guess he has one that's an anti-air that will grab you if you're jumping full screen as well. So you could be full screen trying to jump in, and he just snatches you right out of the air. So that's very frightening. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting combo for gameplay-wise as a zoning grappler. He also mentioned that the log kick that he does, it actually slows down. So like it starts off pretty quick, but then as it's sliding across the screen, it slows down and stops before the end of the screen. So your mind thinks, oh, this thing's just going to keep going. It's just your typical projectile. He's going to kick it, keeps the same speed, and then as long as you time it out and jump over it, you're good. But the timing is going to be a lot trickier because it actually slows down and stops. So it might kind of mess with your mind.
Neat.
And then the last little bit that I remember he mentioned that was pretty cool was one of his like where he has a move that's actually really good for him being a zoning grappler. He has a move where one of the clones comes up behind your opponent and hits your opponent, and it'll basically, if the opponent blocks it, then you don't take the place of that clone. It's just basically it hits your opponent and that's it. But if it connects, if the punch connects and it actually knocks down your opponent, you take the place of that clone. So it works as a teleport in that way. So if it whiffs or if it's blocked, you don't take the place of the clone, so you keep standing where you are. But if it does connect, it knocks the opponent down, and now you're on the other side of the screen. It's kind of cool.
Like sand through the hourglass, these are the Proto-Noob Saibot MK11 move properties.
But yeah, so he's got a lot of tricks to him. Very cool, very cool. But yeah, and then all the girls. So then that really just leaves the mobile stuff that got released. Obviously, is going to be a big talking point. Let's kind of start off low and then build up, obviously, to Scarecrow probably being the most notable discussion to be had. But let's start off lower and just talk about Green Lantern and how much better his outfit looks in this game.
Well, this depends on like what we're defining as low to high, because we have the characters that we've now seen their costumes for,
Sure.
the characters we've seen costumes and super moves for, and we have a bunch of folders and text for a couple of people who are on their way.
That is true too.
So we don't want to maybe leave that for maybe we want to leave the folders for the last, because that's much, I don't know.
It is pretty much confirmation.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's go with I guess Green Lantern and Scarecrow right now, and Cyborg too, I suppose.
Yeah, Green Lantern, Cyborg, Scarecrow, and Flash, I mean, is in that bunch as well, because we get to see the first gameplay and kind of his actual outfit beyond the website render. But yeah, Green Lantern, right off the bat, I know we all kind of poo-pooed on the white lights that were all around, making him look like a Tron outfit.
Well, you did. I said I liked that.
Okay, well then you... I thought somebody liked it, so that explains that. And well then that's interesting. What do you think about this one?
I think, so we saw two outfits, and the first one that was revealed, I thought, I mean, everyone liked it, but I thought it looked awful because it's got armor on it. Yeah. And my whole thing with the Green Lantern costume is philosophical. Any clothes a Green Lantern is wearing are a hologram. There is no difference between his outfit and his force field in terms of protection. Sure. So there's no reason for a lantern to ever wear... ever. The plates do nothing.
Right.
But then we saw his base outfit without the gear on it, and it's better. It's more classic Green Lantern-y. I still think it's a little busy. So I don't really like either one as much as really either of his outfits from Injustice 1. But I mean, there's plenty of gear left to see, so
sure.
We'll see how it all shakes out. I missed the Tron lines, basically.
Keep going. I'm trying to actually find a fucking
gotcha.
picture. I think I might have just found it. Let me see here. I'd actually be staring at it because... Okay, yeah. The hair and the mask are actually a little bit funky. That aside...
that really bothered me. The hair looks weird.
Is that the one where it's like sticking up to the side on one?
It looks like, yeah, it's a little bit too windblown, and I'm not sure what's with the blowjob handles around the waist.
Yeah,
that aside...
Carol's got,
He's got goddamn handles. He does.
It's the low resolution of the image, I think, which makes it look a little bit funkier than it actually is. But
another thing that's not helping his face is in the costume with the gear on it. His mask doesn't cover his nose, and that's a real big sticking point for me. I can't stand it when Hal's mask doesn't cover his nose. It just looks funky.
Funny. Okay.
Yeah, I've never even
Don't
really
mind me.
thought
Keep
about
talking.
that. No, that's
Keep
fine.
talking.
I didn't even honestly think about the mask not covering his nose until you mentioned it, so that's an interesting point. Overall, my thoughts on his outfit, I agree with you on the armor plates thing. Yeah, those things look really odd to me, so I don't really understand that either. Especially because the armor doesn't even look good. So why, like, if he's creating this armor for himself for whatever reason, if it's like a fashion statement of his, because like you said, it doesn't really matter like the way it works.
If anything, it's actually worse for a lantern to have armor because it's just going to hold him down. Like he's going to weigh more and make him less flexible.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't really understand like the jettisoning out chest piece part that on that outfit. It looked odd.
There is a fair amount of like armor slinging and creating and whatnot during your typical Green Lantern war fights, as Temp is about to find out. It does happen. There's precedent for it. I don't know how necessary it is, but it exists. I mean, it's a thing.
I mean, usually when they make armor, what they're actually doing is making something that's not skin tight. Like they're making a mech suit for them to walk around in, which is far out from their body. You know, it's a bigger force field.
It's Hal, though, you know? I mean, this is kind of the way Hal thinks. He thinks with his punching fists, he'd give himself bulky armor. I can kind of see it. He doesn't have much of an imagination in the way that John or Kyle does.
I don't know. Hal doesn't usually make fucking clothes. And usually if he's going to make a fist, it's going to be a really big fist.
I'm actually surprised that there hasn't been a really big fist yet.
Yeah,
he had a really big fist.
He had a fist move in versus DC Universe, but he didn't in Injustice 1.
That makes no sense. I guess that they're trying to like make Lantern neutral moves that either him or John or whoever else can use.
You can't say that either because he did make a bunch of Jet-related stuff.
Okay, never mind. See, I don't remember this fucking game. Anyway, I'm looking at this costume now, and it's got its problems, but on the whole, just to be concise about it, like I said, I like it a whole lot more than I like Hal Jordan spilled milk on himself and then lied down. I fucking hated that. Like the lines are just neon green lines. Okay, cool. When they're so neon, they're almost white. No, thank you. You fucked up there. I didn't care for that costume.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Needs improvement, but still, I think kind of an improvement. The low resness of the screen probably not helping.
Yeah,
I think I just kind of want to really reserve judgment on him until I see him in the full game.
Sure.
But I like blowjob handles around the waist to side. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think it looks. I think it looks head and shoulders above what was in Injustice 1 as well. I thought Injustice 1 was very too armory, too much detailed. I didn't like the abs and stuff like that. It just seemed like too much. Whereas this one seems much more sleeker and polished, and I don't know, just screams more Green Lantern-y to me. Do we want
armory? No doubt about that, but nah.
Do we want to touch upon his super move?
Kind of bland as shit, really. He puts all of this shit on himself and then just fires a missile, pretty much. Like it's a one shot. It's a lot of build up to not much at all. Kind of like Hal's career.
It's
well, each piece slams down on the opponent.
It's a little odd that he makes a bunch of mech suit pieces and hits you with each of them individually before he finishes assembling the mech suit. And then once it's assembled, he's just like
plonk,
fireball in your face.
Yeah, I wasn't.
It's definitely like I see what they were going for, and it's a cool idea, but it's not nearly as cool as his one from the first game was.
Yeah, I feel like they're both just very I'm gonna hit you with a million different objects things. Like I don't know. I feel like
the full game he'll like fire a giant laser. It'll be better. I don't know. I hope so. I'm really wowed by that one, to be honest.
The issue is, I think when you compare it to everything else that's going on, like Supergirl takes you into space, past the sun, throws you through a comet, and then lasers you back to Earth, and then a bunch of comets fall on you. When you compare it to things like that, Batman strings you up by his jet, and then takes you up once again into like space or the air atmosphere, and then shoots you a million times back to Earth. Like when you compare it to stuff like that and crazy Superman punching you and then flying ahead of you and then stand out and you just run into it. just hitting you with like a mech suit and that's created out of the ring and then a missile once. Like it seems kind of bland, whereas I feel like they could do more with his creativity. I mean, you can do anything with Hal's ability to a degree. I mean, it's up to his imagination, so why not, create a baseball bat him off into the air, and then catch him with a glove, and then smash him with, I don't know, like, I mean, there's just a million things you could do with that. You can make a damn Rube Goldberg machine out of fucking Green Lantern parts and have it be this big elaborate setup in this giant empty room for all I fucking care. But at least that would be cooler than just like on the spot assembling this thing and then shooting your opponent. To me, it just seems a little plain Jane compared to what everyone else is bringing to the table.
It's true, but at the same time, that is kind of what Hal's all about. Motherfucker doesn't have an imagination. This is the kind of thing he would do.
I mean, you say that, but the first thing I thought of when I saw him assembling a mech suit is he stole that from Kyle Rayner.
That's exactly what happened.
Kyle is the mech suit guy. He's the fucking he watches Gundam and then he steals it.
Like during Jeff Johns' entire run, he comments on like how much more creative like John and Kyle are with their shit. Like I think that even Guy Gardner gets some good ones in every now and then. Guy fucking Gardner. He knows he's inadequate, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him cribbing some stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. And maybe the gear allows you to like throw on Guy's jacket and stuff like that, because if you can make John a premier skin, you could probably do the others just by simple shaders and gear changes. So
I would love to be able to play in Guy Gardner's jacket. Just to have a Green Lantern in a fucking jacket instead of space armor. Why does he need to look like Commander Shepard, damn it?
I mean, it wouldn't take much either. Just freaking make his hair orange and slightly with a like more of a military cut, and then give him the Guy Gardner jacket. I mean, there you go, and you have a. I wouldn't be surprised if we get something like that under the gear system. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that does happen, because then at least would make sense why Hal is using all these different things that other lanterns would use. Because then he's kind of like the all-encompassing lantern that the gear can change to make anyone you want. But with that said, anything to be said about Flash and Cyborg? Because I don't really have thoughts on these two a whole lot, other than that Flash looks better.
I think it's ironic that Cyborg looks like lean and his machine parts are skin tight. Like, I like that look, but like, it's like, this is when you finally choose to tone down your stupid armor thing.
Yeah, the guy that's supposed
Honestly,
to be...
I'm not gonna complain, because in this, I think it actually looks ultra fucking sleek on the guy.
I mean, yeah,
I'm a big fan of
my
this.
mouth shut. I should
I'm a big fan of
not
this.
put a gift horse in the mouth.
Like, it is, I can't believe I'm saying this, it's tactfully, tastefully done armor on a guy who, by all rights, if anyone in the cast should have it, it's this dude. And yeah, I like how it looks. Look forward to seeing this.
Have you seen Zack Snyder's Cyborg? That looks like
No, and I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I'm Googling it right.
It looks like half of a guy's face on a Terminator endoskeleton, and then at the parts where he should be bulky, like the chest and the thigh meat, it's like crumpled tinfoil.
Oh my!
Just balled up and stuck to him. It is. I have never seen a design this bad for a major motion picture. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm sad now.
Well, that's Zack Snyder for you.
So back to the mobile, because let's get away from that sadness.
Yeah, let's bring the room back.
Let's all run as far away from Zack Snyder as we possibly can.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have much thoughts on him. I do agree with you guys, though. I think this design definitely looks better than prior ones.
I just saw a super move. Perhaps you can tell me, Razor or Black Cyborg, if this is his super move, because if I didn't know any better, I'd swear this was kind of like some sort of stage interaction thing. But I just saw a thing where like he opens up a portal, kicks them through, they get their asses kicked by parademons, and then they get tossed back.
A boom
and
tune.
just kind of blasts them a little bit. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Is that him?
I'd
Well, it
imagine,
could
yeah.
be a stage interaction. There were stage interactions like that in the first game, but Cyborg does have the power to open boom tubes.
That actually
that's
kind of
sort
makes
of
some sense then.
when he was added to the Justice League by the reboot. They sort of, to make him more useful to the team, they gave him the power to teleport with boom tubes. So he became like the guy who teleports the team around.
Yeah, it makes sense actually because they gave Blue Beetle kind of his blaster type of super. So doing the boom tube angle is actually pretty good. I didn't see that super, so that's cool if that is the case.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
So Flash, any thoughts on Flash?
I mean, we've barely seen any footage of him at all. It's just 2 costumes, really.
He throws this little spark thing in the mobile game.
Does he? I mean, I've only seen him, like, I saw a little bit of a combo he kept doing over and over again that had it was like 2 dashes and a bike kick.
Huh. Because, yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of him either, but I saw him do, like, this kick or something, if I'm remembering right, and this, like, little bolt just comes out, like, as a projectile. It's weird.
Hmm.
Don't know what's going on there. And then I heard about his super move. I didn't watch it, but I heard that he, instead of running around the world this time, he, I guess, runs around his opponent a bunch and hits him a bunch of times while he's running around him. Something to that degree. I have no idea. Shadowloo just put it in the chat. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, he moves so fucking fast. It looks like he's hitting, like, while he's kneeling in front of them, he comes from behind and kicks them in the back of the head, or no, they dodge it? What the hell is going on in this?
Yeah.
It is stylish as fuck. I like it.
That's cool. That's good to hear you say that, because some people are like, I have no idea what the heck is going on, but those are the kind of things that I really...
There's a definite sense of I don't know what the hell is going on, but I know that he's administering a beating of a lifetime, and Summer Cabal is very moist.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see some of these in the actual game, because obviously they kind of tone them down in mobile version. Even Injustice 1, the things, they're reminiscent of what you get in the full game. They're definitely not completely different or anything, but they're obviously limited on what they can do. Let's move on to then the big one here, and that's Scarecrow.
Yeah. Okay, so for the most part, I'm leading off because I'm very happy for the most part. I greatly enjoyed the fact that they made him metahuman, and I'm glad that we actually didn't, for all our joking, go down like the Crane style of Kung Fu. Because, I mean, that's kind of an outlying 1 or 2 shot like thing in Jonathan Crane's history. He gets where he needs to get by, like, fucking people up with fear gas. And on one occasion, he turned into this gigantic roaring thing called the Scare Beast. So he seemed to have gone down that path just a little bit, not like over-the-top Solomon Grundy style, but he's definitely metahuman. He's got, like, 3 gnarled toes, I think, if I remember seeing that right. And there's a lot of, like, leaked concept art from the guy. Like, he's lean, he's muscular, and he's got this Borderlands, this gas mask in some iterations with some of his gear on. He's got the noose around his neck for some of his gear, I think. There's spikes coming out of his rib cage and, like, out of his back a little bit. And it's pretty fucking creepy. And I like what I'm seeing from it for the most part. It looks like you're almost always looking at... He's got fucking holes through his legs. It looks like he's making you look at him through fear toxins, and it's kind of wonderful.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation on what he might be. Is he like an avatar of the Rot? Is he an avatar, or not an avatar, but is he part of the Rot? Is he dead? Is he undead because of the comics? Is he like
the Rot's like
is he under
Black
fear?
Lantern version of like the?
It's the opposite of the green.
Yeah.
It's like the...
Okay.
So there's some that have speculated that. Some are speculating that, yeah, like at all times his opponent's under fear gas, so that's why he has that appearance. No one's really for sure on what is up with his appearance. My best guess is he's undead and he's being brought back like this.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, he does die in the tie-in comic, right?
Yeah, he dies really... I think he dies in the first issue. Yeah, he dies because Joker
stole the fear gas.
Yeah, so first issue, he's just shown there kind of like dead, leaned up against the counter.
Well,
So-
I harbor absolutely no expectations about any form of comic tying into this game successfully. I've learned my
Well,
lesson about
I would
that.
have said the same, but then we got Black Canary's bio, which actually references season 2.
Mother of God. That's kind of
Yeah.
unprecedented. That's kind of unprecedented.
Yeah, I really didn't expect that either. So, I mean, maybe he is undead.
Yeah.
All right, well, you know what? I wouldn't complain, but I mean,
I mean, it does raise the
to-
question
to
of how
me-
he, like, who brought him back, or
Yeah, I think
Necron.
it'll be interesting.
Necron for 3. Anyway, I just really want to play as Black Hand in a game. That's all. I'm not going to complain, man. Dead Scarecrow, Fear Gas Scarecrow. He looks intimidating as shit. And the only thing that I think is missing from Scarecrow that I've seen so far, from all this artwork and like the gameplay footage, dude's got no traditional hat gear that I can tell.
mean, this is...
I think that hat's behind a paywall. I think that they're going to make me pay for that hat.
No, I don't think that. I think
Hat.
Like, the mobile version,
Money.
Literal
we're
money
able to
hat.
see- we're really only able to see 2 or 3 iterations of gear in the mobile game right now. I think compared to like we're seeing like even in the beta has like 5 or 6 versions of just like the kind of crest Superman and Supergirl can wear, right?
Yeah, the logos, I think Supergirl has at least 6 different logos to choose from.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want it to be
really-
behind a paywall. I'm just saying.
I hope
I would
hope
pay
he
money for
comes-
the hat.
I hope he comes in the base game with a hat and jacket option, because that's my first thought looking at the model, the base model, is it looks very stripped down. He's damn near naked, and I would like more clothes on the motherfucker.
That's really the only thing.
I'm not. Yeah.
The hat is the
I'm-
only thing missing from his repertoire. He's got the noose, he's got the jacket in some of his gear that we saw, he's got the hood in some of his gear, and he's got a gas mask in some of his gear. So really, like,
Well,
I'm
he's
with
got-
you. The hat is like one of the only things that he's missing.
He looks like he's
it's
going to be a
more
very
like
complete
a-
package.
It's more like a sleeveless vest than a jacket, the one we've seen so far.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I see what
I
you're
like
saying.
the fact that he also wields a sickle, incidentally. It's
Yeah,
a good
the sickle
choice
is
for a
awesome.
weapon.
I was hoping for a scythe, but he pulls off the sickle really well. I love that it's on a cord, like it's on a rope, so he's holding the other end in one hand. So you can already imagine he's going to have some long-range attacks, or mid-screen range, I should say, where he's just holding on to the other end of the rope as he swings that sickle around. That sounds really badass, and maybe
Yes.
worth getting rid of the scythe in favor of it. And I also love that in some of the mobile concept art that sickle itself changes with the gear as well. Like the sickle, the way it's crafted and stuff like that. On one, it's like on fire and glowing. On the other end of the rope, it has like a glowing lantern on it. So just some of that looked really, really badass. So
I am really looking forward to this trailer, you guys. Really looking forward to this trailer.
yeah, the next trailer is, or the next character
It's in a
reveal's
week.
on my
It's in a-
birthday. It's on the 23rd, and I am crossing my fingers either for Dr. Fate or Scarecrow, because those are the 2 trailers that I want to see most. So
But
Definitely.
Cyborg, Dr. Fate isn't in this game yet. Surely we don't have any confirmation along those lines.
sure.
Do we?
Not
Or are we just getting ahead of ourselves?
no, but
Nah.
before we move on to that though, with Scarecrow, I know there is naysayers, and I'm not just talking like Django, and I think Temp also agreed that he didn't care for the way Scarecrow was looking, which is understandable. Temp doesn't like the kind of holes in people and stuff like that Scarecrow's got going on. So I completely,
This is kind of up the Devora alley.
yeah, I completely understand why he would not be too thrilled about it. But with that said, and there was people on Reddit that were also not too thrilled about it. But
I'll say this. Base Scarecrow, little bit lacking. Gear Scarecrow up a little bit, and you're going to have a good time, I think.
Well, the other thing I think is that the mobile graphics don't do it a lot of justice. Like, I'm
Yeah.
looking at the art for base gearless Scarecrow, and you can make out a lot more detail. Like, he's got ribs just poking straight out of the skin of his torso and shit like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
It actually looks a lot
All
better.
the wrong direction and shit.
oh, and
Yeah.
it's not even just the concept art. If you actually play the mobile game, or if you watch somebody play, because I know there's videos on YouTube of people actually playing it. Like, seeing it in HD quality makes a world of difference on some of these designs. Scarecrow because I'm with you, Shadowloo. I think his base design slightly lacking. I'm okay with it. Like if this is what we had, I'd be like, okay. I mean, it could definitely be better, but I'll deal with this. At least we got Scarecrow. But the gear is definitely going to make this character amazing with all the gear that he could potentially get. And we've already seen taste of it, and it's already making him look better. But yeah, on because I've watched some footage on the mobile game on YouTube, and I can tell you things look much better from like actual on-screen footage of the game, and he looks much better. Same with like Hal and other characters playing, like seeing them in HD rendered in the actual game definitely helps. But we also got to see Scarecrow's super move.
Yes, which I just refreshed about 3 times because god damn, I can't wait to see this in the game.
Yeah, it is really awesome. Okay, so like this eye-shaped tear, like a tear in reality happens after they get fear gas, and it's just this eye tear. All of a sudden his sickle like is on a rope or on a chain or whatever the fuck. It's coming out of the eye hole, drags his opponent in by their neck basically. So he drags them in. They're hanging by this chain as if they're just hanging at the gallows or something. He starts swinging them left, like back and forth on the ground, and he's in a huge fashion, like in Arkham Asylum. He's just this huge avatar. It's just crazy, and yeah, and then he slams him on the ground. What happens at the end? I couldn't really tell I only watched it once, but he like
I believe he just left, right, and something comes out of the ground.
Yeah, it's like a
Arkham. I think that's what's happening here. It's like he's slamming them around Arkham Asylum a little bit, and like the last slam is through the earth back onto the gameplay field.
Yeah,
sort of.
It looks kind of like a graveyard to me.
Yeah,
you think?
Eerie. It's definitely eerie. Whatever. It's very gothic and eerie. Like old school.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
The thing that comes out of the ground looks kind of like a giant tombstone or something.
It's either a tombstone or it's meant to represent the manor. I don't know. It's pretty. You're probably right about it being a tombstone. It looks kind of building like.
Maybe it's his. I mean, if he's undead, maybe it's his.
Like kind of building like too. Like it could be Arkham Asylum. I don't know.
But yeah, it definitely is cool, and that's one that I'm very excited for the full game with the sounds and the visuals and everything. See, the thing is, a lot of people are kind of like, I don't know. They're kind of shooed away from that base design. They're kind of like not feeling it. But Scarecrow, to me, when I think of Scarecrow, and I'm thinking NetherRealm's going to do this character justice because they're probably big fans of this character as well. I mean, why else is he even in the game? I know a lot of people ask for him, but at the end of the day, as we know, if they're not a fan of a character, they're not making it in no matter how much they're requested. So I think they're going to do this character justice. If they can do Swamp Thing as amazingly as they did him, I feel like they can make Scarecrow just as much, like just as cool and just as fun. In the mobile game has such limited moves and specials and stuff like that. You don't get a sense of how the character actually can play and what their potential is. If we saw Swamp Thing introduced in the mobile game first, and that's our first exposure of him, we probably wouldn't be singing his praises as much. So, I don't know. I'm still pretty optimistic that Scarecrow is going to be really badass. I'm hoping for the hat as well. I think that's the only thing he's missing. Maybe some syringes as options for his fingers from the Arkham games. But overall, yeah, and that kind of leads into the last bit of thing that we were going to discuss, and that was the list that was leaked from the mobile game, the data mining that took place where they show files with characters' names on it. Refresh my memory.
Indeed.
Keep it on a long Scarecrow. Let me pull it up before we start spilling the beans. Is there a Scarecrow? Okay, I was looking to see if they had a Scarecrow Arkham version, like a skin, but they do not. They have A and B, so that's the ones we do know.
Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be either, and that would look really badass. But yeah, I'm hoping for that classic Scarecrow hat as well. Even like a cowboy duster hat from the fucking animated series would be really kind of cool too. But yeah,
I am legitimately going to try to recreate Season 4 Scarecrow as close as I possibly can. The only thing it's going to be missing is like his stick, but that's not going to happen because you've already got Aquaman, and people are going to be hitting each other with sticks. It's
so crack that open.
So yeah, little bit more data mining happened, and according to some folders, Dr. Fate, yes, that's a thing that's going to be happening. Joker, a thing that's going to be happening. And if I'm also not mistaken, Green Arrow, as well as Boss Superman.
And
Whether
Boss
that's
Brainiac.
something, and Boss Brainiac.
So
Yes.
whether whoever's the main boss and sub boss, looks like that's what we're getting, and that may just be the mobile game. We don't know necessarily if Superman will be boss in the console. I don't remember. At one point in the MKX mobile game, Ermac was the boss in like the early stages, oddly enough. So who knows how it breaks down in the actual game? But yeah, that's what the folders say, anyways. Is Superman has a boss attire, A and B, and Brainiac has a boss attire as well. And then, yep, we got our Dr. Fate, pretty much confirmation at this point. We had his helmet on a t-shirt before when the game was first announced, we had his helmet on a t-shirt, which already gave me hope. And then we had basically the leak list come out, which is getting more and more proven right as the days go by with each character reveal. And so that gave me even more hope and pretty much sealed the deal 99%. But I think this is that feather in the cap, that last percent. I'm pretty sure we can 100% guarantee that Dr. Fate will be in the game at this point, because there's not, although they do put characters in the mobile game that aren't in the final, like in the console version, those characters come later. So when this thing first launches, it's going to be all characters that are actually in the game, save for like the henchmen and stuff. So I think Dr. Fate is an absolute lock. And I am stoked to see this trailer. If it happens on my birthday next week, next Thursday, on the 23rd, I'm going to have a little party hat on. When I watch that trailer for the live reaction, which I already took off work early, I'm going to be getting off at 12 p.m. so I can come home and get that live reaction before I get spoiled on anything. When I load that baby up, if that is Dr. Fate, I'm going to be like a squealing little pig. Like, it's going to be great.
I kind of actually wonder if we won't get another triple combo trailer at the same time, because I mean, like with Cheetah and Catwoman and Poison Ivy, we knew about Ivy beforehand, we knew about Catwoman beforehand. Cheetah was the real surprise there. So next week, I wouldn't be surprised if like we got, say, for example, some Bane gameplay in there and some Scarecrow gameplay in there, because they know that we know now, and boom, also Captain Cold. I could see another three-person Rogues trailer.
I thought you were going Gotham villains, like
I mean,
do Scarecrow, Bane, and Mr. Freeze as like a,
or they could pull Joker out of their ass. Never know.
I feel like Joker, to me, when I think Joker, I think he's going to be one character. I think
that they're building up to him. They're going to build up to him.
I think either they won't reveal him or he'll be the very last reveal, kind of like you didn't think he was coming back, but he is, type of thing. Kind of like in MK9, did they not even reveal like Smoke at all before the game even came out? I think
they kept him back.
And they did they do the same thing with MKX? Like, did they ever reveal Shinnok before the game came out? I can't remember. Like, I know they revealed him in cinematics.
Shinnok, I think that they did through cinematics. Smoke, we first found out about by looking at a select screen and going, "Is that Christopher Walken?"
Yeah.
We all remember those glory days.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Joker will be that final reveal, or somebody that they don't even reveal, like keeping it as a secret in the actual game as like an unlockable or something. I don't know.
Refresh my memory from IJ1. Ain't that fucker dead?
Yeah, he died first comic as well.
That's kind of the premise of the game relies on the Joker's death.
Yes. Just, I don't know. Man, imagine that. Imagine if they do bring the Rot in and Joker's around and Joker's an avatar of the Rot. You think Scarecrow's scary? Jesus.
Yeah.
I'd actually really kind of kill for a game to give us a really terrifying incarnation of the Joker, because, you know, people are familiar with that guy. It's never too good for a villain who you need to be scary to be too familiar to its audience. Man, what if, you know? Anyway, I'm just brain farting here.
I'm just hoping if they when and if they reveal Dr. Fate, I'm hoping it's like a Swamp Thing trailer. I want full-blown hype out of him. He's a character very important to me, very important to you, Shud, very important to Redman and several other people that have put him on top of their list in terms of wish list and stuff like that, or asking for him. Yeah, I want a full-blown trailer. That would be super awesome. No pun intended.
Not gonna complain. Not gonna contest. I love it too. Hell, man. pick a rumored character for this thing that's going to be coming out. I want to see some gameplay. Fuck, I take some Darkseid at this point.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit hyped. Oh God, get it off. What happened? I'm supposed to be the pessimistic one. What's going on here? Yeah.
I think we need to get you, one way or another, hopefully we get another batch of beta codes and I get a PS4 code or something, because I really want you to get your hands on this so you can
really
kind of...
thinking it. Like, the other day, I'm like, are they still throwing those out? I guess I'll head over to the site and, oh, okay. They're done for now. Then I hear, like, Boone's tossing them out on Twitter for, like, an hour or something.
Yeah, he does from time to time. I'm hoping they do. I would imagine they'll do a wave 5 because it's like a week and a half of the beta left. I'm hoping for one more wave, and one of us at least gets a PS4 code coming in here, and because I really want you to get your hands on it, just for anything to either reaffirm that you do not like the way it feels, so that way you can kind of manage your hype there, or if you kind of get used to it, at least then you can feel like, oh, this game isn't so bad. Like, that would be kind of cool. So
maybe it's finally time for me to boot up that copy of Injustice that I was given for free on the PS4. I do kind of want to play Lobo a little bit.
My recommendation would be give it, because trust me, when you first crack that open, it's going to feel so foreign. It's going to be like, oh my God, this feels so weird. I don't like it. But once you hammer that thing out, play it for an hour and a half, it really starts to warm up and you start to like it a lot more. That's how it was for me with both Injustice and Injustice 2. It's like a big departure from the MK series in terms of what it changes and how the characters feel. But once you get used to the 3-button system with a gimmick and all that, it really gets fun. Once you start learning the character, it becomes fun. And then once you start playing matchups against one of us, like competitively, and just having that fun back and forth series, that's when it's at its best. That's when I really started enjoying the game, was when I started playing matches with Temp and Redman and stuff like that. That's where I had a ton of fun and really sold me on the game, because I was very hesitant, cautiously optimistic about the game up until that point. But yeah.
We'll see. You make this a catalog of whether or not I become a slow convert over the next couple of months. But this thing comes out like, what, March?
May.
Son of a...
No, May. We got time.
We still got how much time I'm gonna have for Zelda. I'm gonna have to squeeze a lot of Zelda in here, man.
You basically have two months after Zelda comes out to play that. One other thing worth of note, though, from those folders is we do know we're getting a CW version of The Flash, and we are getting a Suicide Squad version of Harley. So,
does that mean they got Margot Robbie to do the voice?
And we also, oddly enough, we have Wonder Woman A, Wonder Woman B, and Wonder Woman M.
M?
What the hell is M? Like, every other character has A, B, sometimes even... Well, no. I don't think any other character has C other than the thugs.
Beats me, because, I mean...
M. Oh, and
either Donna or Troy start with M, so I have no idea who they're going for there. That's like the only other person I think who's ever been Wonder Woman in the comics for any kind of amount of time.
Hippolyta was Wonder Woman, but...
I know what M's got to be. I know what M's got to be. It's got to be movie. Wonder Woman movie, I bet.
Look at the brain on side.
Oh, there's a Superman M as well. So
there you go.
There's no 89. There's no 89 after Batman, is there?
No, there is Arkham Knight though.
Oh, okay, fine, I guess. If you're gonna give me a goddamn super where he flies the Batwing in front of the moon, I'm just saying.
I know that's gotta. It's gotta be.
Arkham
Gear or something.
The Arkham Knight game had all kinds of Batman skins from the movies. Why can't we get those?
Yeah, that's true.
I see no reason. Why not to. It's not like I just don't play Arkham Knight.
I'll actually play Batman if they give me a Keaton skin.
But on those rare occasions where I boot up Arkham Knight these days, like once every year or so, basically that's how I play. Pretty much. Point fact, I mean, I finished that game before the 89 shite came out, and then once 89 came out,
yeah,
I just basically ran around playing the Tim Burton score for like an hour. And God, I love that. Okay, I'll stop.
Okay, so I think with the leak list that gives us 28. Does anybody have the leak list pulled up so we can kind of? Because it's got to be at least one more than 28, unless they're not counting Kratos. Because I'm pretty sure in MK9 we had a roster of 28 with Kratos, don't we?
Don't do that. Don't make me think of that.
So that would be initial roster, though. Kratos has to be counted in the initial roster for MK9's PS3 version, so that would be 28, and then Injustice would have to have 29, if I remember correctly. I mean, Injustice 2, because he said it would be the largest initial roster as well as largest DLC roster. He made a point to say it exactly like that, too. Largest NRS game initial roster, or whatever. And I counted up MK9 characters. I think Kratos made 28, if I remember right. He either made 28 or 29. But I think it's 28.
Part of me is always gonna wonder. I mean, until the game comes out clearly, but I'm so used to like the mental image of Brainiac latching onto Lex Luthor and being a fused form. What if that's your boss form, huh? What if that's its own character? Superman Brainiac.
Superman Brainiac? Holy crap. That could be. Could be. Interesting.
I would not object to that.
Anybody have the MK9 roster?
Half that Charlie Sheen face would be obscured by the Brainiac mask. That would really make it work for me.
Okay, pulling up MK9 roster. Here. MK9 PS3 roster. And then we need the leaked list as well.
Trying to find it again.
Okay, so with Kratos we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28 with Kratos. So Kratos makes 28. So it has to be 29, which if I remember the leak list adds up to 28 with everything, so maybe there's one more character in there. Either that or they're not counting Kratos, but that wouldn't make any sense because he at least was on the disc to start.
Yeah. See, I want to say that they were thinking of after DLC too.
Yeah.
Because they already know how much DLC they're making, apparently, if they can announce 9 characters for the most expensive edition.
Well, he said, I remember the interview clear as day, because it was just 2 or 3 weeks ago that I put out that video where he specifically said that the starting roster, the initial roster, would be larger than any NRS title. It was from one of the combats. It was the first Watchtower stream they did with Ed just a couple weeks back, and he said the initial roster would be the largest initial roster of any NRS game, and they'd be putting out the most DLC of any NRS game. So it has to be more.
You know what I'm noticing looking at like this, and as an aside, looking at this folder list, the character is called Damian Wayne. He's not called Robin.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I wonder.
You think?
I bet he has a Nightwing Premier skin since he's still supposed to be Nightwing in the present and it was Robin in the past.
Like a Premier skin where he is Nightwing, or a Premier skin of like Dick as Nightwing?
Either or.
Interesting. If anybody was a Premier skin for the Damian Wayne that we see in the game, I was thinking Raish. All the swordplay that he goes, you'd think that'd be an easy thing to do. Especially because, I mean, Damian looks older, he's taller, he's like the size of any other character with a hood and everything. You could easily Premier skin that into a Ra's al Ghul with some sword moves like that. So I don't know. That was the thing I was kind of contemplating. But it all depends on how far they take the Premier skins. We know they're going to be different.
I actually think the characters we know now and the leaks add up to 30.
Okay. Do you have the full list? I should look. I'm
trying to make one now. I'm looking at 2 separate lists, which is known characters and then the leak list, and then trying to cut out the names that have been confirmed since the leak.
Okay.
So, okay. Just count from as I read them.
Yeah, it's 30. Right? It's 30. Aquaman, Atrocitus, Bane, Batman, Black Canary, Blue Beetle, Brainiac, Catwoman, Cheetah, Cyborg, Darkseid, Deadshot, Flash, Grodd, praise be to him, Green Lantern, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Robin. No, wait, never mind. This list has Green Lantern on it twice.
What the fuck?
Does it?
The one that I just compiled from 2 separate places does. Hang on.
Because the one you were just reading only had 1 Green Lantern on it. Oh,
22, 23,
Maybe they're counting a premiere skin.
where did he leave off? Poison Ivy, Robin, Scarecrow, Supergirl, Superman, Swamp Thing, Wonder Woman, and then the ones on the leak list that we didn't hear yet: Joker, Mr. Freeze, Dr. Fate, Green Arrow, Firestorm, Black Adam, and Captain Cold. That should be 30.
And that wasn't counting any of the premiere skins, right?
That's not counting the premiere skins.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I could buy that. I mean, initially they did have 31 boxes on the website before they started adding more characters, but like I said, box could mean nothing as they're adding characters. Yeah. But a initial roster of 30, I could buy that.
I mean, granted, that's with Darkseid.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would count him in there because he will be there with pre-orders and all that.
I'm gonna have to ask my source to give me a pre-order code.
I think that's okay. Yeah. All right. So that's reasonable. That's cool. And I would talk about who we think is DLC, but I'm thinking we're gonna do individual videos, kind of like we did with Wishlist. But we'll do who do you want as the 9 DLC characters. Since we know how many DLC characters we're getting, it makes it a little easier, because now you have 9 spots to choose from, and you probably got to fit in like 2 or 3 guest characters. So, we'll do those as separate videos for each of us.
Usually do a top 7. We could just subtract Sub-Zero and Rorschach, and then do 7.
Yeah, I think Spawn's
subtract
a given
Red
too.
Hood.
But
You're getting Red Hood.
Well,
you're not getting Red Hood.
We're probably getting Red Hood. We're probably getting Static.
You're not probably getting Red Hood. You're getting Red Hood.
He did a poll. We're getting Red Hood.
Right.
Would you like some Hood? Would you like some Dick, or would you like some Hood? You're definitely getting some Hood.
But anyway,
remains to be seen whether you'll get some anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll make separate videos with those, because that actually is a fun topic to discuss. But yeah, we'll wrap up this because we did cover everything that we needed to cover over the week that I can recall. So, with that said, we missed Temp. Godspeed to that man. And he should hopefully be back for episode number 54. I think this is 53. So, anyways, see you guys next time. Adios.
We promise we'll drag Temp out of retirement for you competitive-minded folks out there. Toodles!
Outstanding.